Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I am Julie Hill-Lynn with 11 Marketing and Consulting, and today I'm excited to discuss with you the essential foundations of your business. I promise at the end of this that you'll walk away with knowledge and, if executed properly, will grow and sustain your business. Also, I want to let you know that this is a pre-recorded webinar, so if you do have any questions at the end of this, please feel free to email me at 11julie@yahoo.com. As you can see from this first slide, I say that this is for all businesses, old and new. And this is because business is evolving daily. And whether it be through technology, how people are buying or using your service, a global pandemic, or your ability to get inventory, if we aren't evolving our business every week, we may not find ourselves in business. So let me kick myself out of the screen here so we can see the next slide. So 11 Marketing Consulting. As I said, I'm Julie. And one of the things people ask me is, how did I come up with 11? So 11 is my lucky number. It's my spirit number. It's that number that I see all over the place. So I see 11s constantly. And so when I was trying to come up with something that meant something to me, 11 is how I came up with that. So there's your answer to how I did that. A little bit about me. I grew up in Livingston County. My parents still live in Brighton. I currently reside in Milford, just on the border of Brighton. And I started my sales career out at WHMI in Howell. I was a radio sales rep. I then moved on to Detroit radio, and then I got into cinema advertising. I was in that for, gosh, a good portion of my career, probably about 17 years. And then I sold television advertising. Back in 2011, my husband, Chef Tom Lynn, some of you may know him. He is with Fortune Cooking Brands. That is a brand we actually created in 2011. And he wanted to teach, and we needed to come up with a platform to do that. And so we started a YouTube channel, which then grew into something pretty sizable. Now I think he has, I don't know, over 30 million views on YouTube. But what I loved about that work I did on that is that it taught me strategy and creativity and creating the content and the marketing and writing and all these things that I was really finding I was very passionate about. So with my 30 years in advertising experience and with the stuff that I did developing the Fortune Cooking brand, I decided to start my own company. And so that's where I am today. So who are we? We specialize in sorting out the complexity among the various marketing technology components, online, offline, social media, digital, advertising, branding, and more. We bring all these disciplines to the table with our combined 40 years of advertising and marketing experience and integrate the solutions to a problem. So I want you to know that every strategy and plan that we create is custom made. So there's not one-stop shop. And our core capabilities, as you can see here, are social media, the branding, advertising, marketing. We do content marketing, digital strategy, and event marketing. So we're kind of a nice one-stop shop. And if it's not something we do, we definitely are connected with a preferred vendor for other capabilities that we may not cover. So on this next slide, we will cover websites, CRM, payment methods, advertising, social media, hours, staffing and cleanliness, branding, and customer service. And what we have found that for most busy entrepreneurs and managers, there's a continual focus on what's new and exciting in the world of business. There's always the latest technologies to learn about and use, and as well as innovations when it comes to creating and delivering products and services. So you don't want to forget that sometimes it's also a good idea to stop and think about some tried and true business concepts that will never go out of fashion. And so these are areas as diverse as some of the things that you see here as our core foundations. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your website. So the World Wide Web is one of the best and most cost-effective ways to market your business. And for this reason, it's very important that you update your website and keep it relevant, fast, and safe. So trends in web design changed almost daily, so it's really good for you to keep up with them. So we're just going to go through some of these key factors of your website. The first one is visual appear. And so the appearance of your website is a direct reflection of your business. And you know, first impressions are vital to portraying this vision. So it's critical that you have a website that you regularly stay on top of and with the latest design trends. Likewise, if your site looks outdated and structured poorly, potential clients may subconsciously think that your business is outdated and structured poorly as well. And so your website should highlight your products or services in a positive light that encourages visitors to find out more about you, which will obviously potentially lead them to hire you to do their purchase of the products. And I want to share with you a quick story of a client of mine who he sells alcoholic beverages, and it's a wine store basically, and liquor store. And they put in this beautiful whiskey display and a humidor. And when you go to their website, the website has a virtual walkthrough where you can actually, like, it takes you walking through the store. That hasn't been updated in about 5 years, which does not include their beautiful new showcases and the humidor. And so by not even having that on their website, people don't even know that that's something that they carry. And so that's a real misstep on their part. And that's why it's really important to keep your website up to date. And also it should be really easy to navigate on multiple device types. So today, obviously they have to navigate on mobile devices, tablets. So it's really important that, you know, how they view your website can be done from a desktop, laptop, tablet, or mobile phone. The next thing is security. Search engines like Google are constantly updating their algorithms to provide the best search results. Updating your website to best address these updates is critical to maintain your site's ranking. You hear stories all the time about websites that are getting hacked. So protect your website and your email from being hacked. One of the most important things you can do is to make sure your website software stays up to date. And make sure that you have a host of your website that's reputable and that cares about security, because sometimes there's a few extra hassles that come along with security, but having somebody that it's important to them also will be worth it in the long run. The next thing is content. So first impressions may be mostly controlled by the overall design of your website, but that's only the beginning. Once you grab their attention, you need to further interest them with your content. So when updating or modifying your website, it's a great opportunity to fine tune your content. So be sure to write copy that is simple, on target, and effective. And remember, this is important. You only have 2 to 4 seconds to engage your visitors and hopefully convert them into customers. Number 4, effectiveness. From a marketing standpoint, your website's effectiveness is critical. You need to keep an eye on your statistics. See what visitors are clicking on, which pages they visit, and how long they stick around, utilizing with tools such as Google Analytics. And one of the great ways to make your website more effective is to make use of your calls to action. It's also called a CTA, but it's a button or link that you place on your website to drive prospective customers to become leads by completing an action on your website. So in a nutshell, you need to make it easy for your visitors to find the end goal and help them get there. Number 5, many people have heard this but don't understand what it is. SEO, or search engine optimization. You need to update your SEO settings so people can find you. SEO rules are constantly changing, and you have maybe read articles about Google updating their algorithms. Every time the search engines make their own updates, your website is potentially affected. You need to stay on top of the new iterations, and the longer you wait, the further behind you become. When you update your website's appearance and content, this is a perfect opportunity to also update your SEO settings. These might involve reassessment of your newly updated content, but it may also involve updating the underlying code associated with the new design. So what happens sometimes is code is planted into your website, and that can be linked through your Google My Business. And your web developer should be able to help you with that because it's, you know, I will be honest, I don't know code, so I usually rely on the professionals for that one. So when you're updating or rebuilding a site or creating a site from scratch, make sure that's a part of it. Usability. Visitor trends change as technology changes. Nowadays, the majority of visitors use their mobile phones, which actually encourages use of your finger to scroll. Another important usability feature has to do with navigation. Most websites these days use horizontal navigation, which is great on devices with larger screens. But when you view it on a smaller device, such as a tablet or smartphone, the navigation system needs to adjust accordingly. Load times. These days, it's critical that you grab the attention of your visitors within seconds. That's right, seconds of their arrival to your website. Loading times have become so important that even Google is rewarding sites that load faster with better search results placement. So that's right. Google will actually place you higher in the search results if your website has a faster load time than that of your customers or competitors, pardon me. There are many factors that contribute to load times, including image sizes, optimization of your website's file system, page caching, and even your web hosting account. So talk to your web designer and or your developer to find out more options to speed up your website. So this is really important too, when to update. So for your security and SEO and content updates, it should be done at least monthly in most cases, but it's important that your website be a safe place for you and your visitors, and content needs to be accurate and up to date. Usability and effectiveness updates could probably be performed during an annual website audit, and design and other updates such as a design refresh are recommended every 2 to 3 years. And even that can be a long time in terms of technological advances. So I actually would say, really, you might want to look at it every 1.5 to 2 years. The next one is called CRM, or Customer Relationship Management System. And it's vital to build and maintain strong, long, loyal relationships with customers and prospects, because it allows you and your company to monitor their interactions with their customers and prospects. And this will mean that your team will always know where they are with their customers or lead, and what they want, and what the next stages are within the sales pipeline. So you may have heard of some of these popular CRMs, which are Salesforce, Thrive, HubSpot, Freshsales, Pipedrive, and ThinkDot. And so when a product is purchased, it's a lot more that happens than just a simple credit or debit card transaction. Where did the customers find information about it? How long did it take them to purchase? What was the last time they made a purchase? So answers to questions like this lay in the foundation of the data that's stored in your CRM. In the long run, the data analysis provided by a CRM system can prove to be an invaluable asset for your company. And by acting as a central repository for all the information related to potential and contemporary customers and clients, a CRM system helps a company from marketing to PR to CRM companies in the following ways. So the benefits with improved customer satisfaction levels. The more you know about your customers and their behaviors and preferences and needs, the better your chances of satisfying their needs and gaining their trust. Increasing revenue by helping to build strategy, formulation, and by eradicating rotten prospects, so that's customers that are not expected to convert anymore. CRMs allow companies to do targeted and efficient marketing that leads to positive revenue spikes. Streamlining the sales pipeline is a sales pipeline that's in the process that begins with the first interaction made with a customer and continues until an actual purchase is made. By using CRMs, businesses can streamline their pipelines and predict expected revenue by finding out their customers, typically churn rate, and removing bottlenecks from the sales funnel, which is really important to do because you don't want to waste time on those. And then efficient internal communication. With the application of CRMs and the best CRM software, companies can ensure that all internal departments are on the same page. The same data is available to employees across all relevant departments, creating seamless communication and improving collaboration. And if I could just share with you, I use a CRM that's really user-friendly. It's very inexpensive, but it does all the things that I needed to do. So it basically houses all my client information. And if I want to do, for example, a mass email, I don't have to find a company like Constant Contact, because it's all housed within my CRM. And so I had, for example, a list that's Howell Chamber. And so if I want to do an email blast out to the Howell Chamber, I have those customers tagged as Howell Chamber, so I can quickly and efficiently send out a blast to those customers. I can also track follow-up, and when people reach out to me, it'll track my phone calls, my text messages with them. So it's really efficient, and it does exactly what I need. So when you're searching for a good CRM system, make sure it fits with what your goals are. And there are a lot of them also that will align with your accounting systems too, which, you know, instead of having to do everything in multiple places, it can be housed in one. Payments accepted. So the payment methods that you have implemented are just as important to your customers as they are to you. So these final stages of the customer experience, more specifically the payment process, greatly shapes their overall opinion of your business. And today that is so important. As global technology continues to advance, the payment methods available to every business are increasing. So no longer are cash and check the most popular choices when paying for a meal, a new pair of jeans, or anything else for that matter. So let's just quickly go through some of these payment terminals. So countertop terminals are some of the most reliable options that are plugged in and are always in function. This makes them great for places that are open 24/7, like gas stations, for example. And countertop terminals are probably your safest bet if you're looking for a steady and reliable payment terminal. Contactless terminals, the popularity of these have increased dramatically in recent years as more and more banks install contactless chips in their credit and debit cards. So today, over 100 million contactless transactions are made each month. The technology offers an incredibly quick and easy way to pay for anything. And while more and more businesses are adopting them, there are still businesses that stick to more traditional payment terminals. Mobile card machines, depending on the type of business you're running, having the payment terminal in one fixed place may not be the best option. So for example, like restaurants, it's often better to take the payment machine to the table rather than ask guests to get up and go to the cash register. So mobile card machines are perfect for these situations. So they are lightweight and GPRS technology, which allows them to be used all around your establishment to process payments securely. And many include a high-speed printer for printing out receipts and an extended battery life, which allows up to 650 transactions to be made on one charge. Online payments, depending on the type of businesses you run, an online payment process can be even more important than a physical one. If you run an online retail shop, for example, or accept online payments for deliveries for your restaurant, having a reliable online payment process is paramount. Credit and direct debit cards. Paying by credit and debit card is the most popular choice for many. If you're running a business that both relies on online payments and accept orders from all over the world, your system must be able to accommodate payments from a variety of cards that are both foreign and domestic. For the most part, every country in the world has at least slightly different online banking policies and services. So you really need to do a lot of research and make sure that the option you choose is able to support as many options as possible if you're running a truly international business. So that may not be international business may not be one of your priorities, but if it is, good to know. PayPal, it's probably the single most trusted online payment service today. It's loved by both the people sending and accepting payments because it's a much quicker and card-free method, which, as you know, today with COVID, touch-free is so important. So the chances of getting customers to buy from you online increases drastically if you offer PayPal as an option. According to a recent study, almost 50% of online shoppers trusted PayPal, and more than 75% of shoppers are dissatisfied with the level of security that comes with using credit cards to pay online. Mobile payment market is one that's growing by leaps and bounds every year. It's only a matter of time before paying for just about anything from bills to goods using your smartphone will become the rule and not the exception. That's why it's recommended that small businesses start looking into these types of mobile payment options sooner than later. And some examples of that might be Apple Pay, Google Pay, Zelle, Venmo, and of course, what I just mentioned, PayPal. And so that takes care of the mobile payments. I'm going to show my face for a second here so you know I'm still here. And thank you for your patience while I'm kind of looking at my notes. I didn't want to distract you with that, but let's go into the next slide, which is advertising. So sending email is free and creating a Facebook page is free. Twitter outreach is free. Cold calling is free. Publicity is free. Referrals are free, but advertising costs money. So why is it that even with all these wonderfully low cost and free ways to promote your business, I contend that you must advertise one of your core lead generation tactics? My experience, people shy away from advertising, not because of the cost, because they don't know how to get the results and they don't understand the long-term residual effects. And so to get the best results from your advertising today, you must be laser focused on a specific ideal client, create awareness for valuable content with a call to action, measure leads and conversion fanatically, and when done effectively, advertising is an essential part of your media mix. And this is because advertising is the only medium you can control. So if you want your message to hit on the day a product launches or an event is about to happen, this is the only vehicle that you can truly control completely. Advertising allows you to target ideal customers only. When you match a very personal message to a very select audience, you get far greater connection. And more these days, this is targeting capabilities have become so advanced that it's much easier to target that specific audience. And more and more advertising mediums have that capability. So it's really fantastic how you can hyper-focus your advertising targets today. Advertising also creates awareness for your content. And so the force that drives a great deal of conversion and trust building these days, it's educational content. So like ebooks, seminars, and blog posts, advertising is a great way to help get that content found and consumed once you've gone to the effort to produce it. So for example, if you wanted to do a webinar like this, and if you wanted, whatever, it could be about your business or a service that you do, but you wanted to shop it out, for example, you can create that content, and once it's there, you can advertise it, however you want to advertise it that best suits your needs, and then that will drive people to find that content and hopefully convert into a sale. The number 4 is advertising adds credibility to your message. So don't ask me why this is exactly, but every time I run advertising, people comment that business must be going well. And I hear that from my clients all the time. The perception that you can afford advertising is often enough to sell and resell prospects and customers alike. It makes it easier to get attention for your entire message. So whether you realize it or not, when you're advertising, you're building your brand and your reputation. And then the last one is advertising amplifies everything else you're doing. When you're using advertising to create awareness for your content, you automatically create more awareness for everything that you're doing. So journalists find companies that advertise, referral sources remember companies that advertise, people fan and follow and friend from ads, and employees can point to well-placed ads as a source of pride in the place that they work. So it's, love it or hate it, advertising is super important, and it's a really good investment if done wisely. Some people expect to throw some money in advertising and expect people to come pounding down their doors. It doesn't always work that way, but that investment on the front end typically pays off in the long run. Okay, social media. I love social media. Social media refers to websites and applications that are designed to allow people to share content quickly, efficiently, and in real time. While many people access social media through smartphones, apps, this communication tool started with computers, and social media can refer to any internet communication tool that allows users to broadly share content and engage with the public. So businesses and social media, so important, so important. So key points to know. While any individual can sign up for social media platforms have become an important part of marketing for businesses of all sizes. The key to successful social media is not to treat it like an extra appendage, but to treat it with the same care, respect, and attention you do for all of your marketing efforts. And here are some things businesses should keep in mind while using social media. Social media marketing is fleeting. By its nature, social media is a short attention span media. You have to catch their attention as quickly scrolling through dozens of posts at a time. And copy is harder to fit into an attention grabbing tweet as opposed to it's harder to put that into a tweet or like a traditional newspaper ad. So it's got to be quick in, out, and capture their attention. You must be active on social media. One of the biggest mistakes retailers make is to open up all these accounts on every social media platform they think is relevant and then leave them alone with no activity. In fact, social media users may be turned off by the retailer who opens accounts and does not engage with their clients or the public. So it may be better to not have a social media icon on your website if you're not going to actively engage with it on a daily basis. I met with a client out of state that they desperately needed help, and they did exactly this. They signed up for their social media, and before I was going to meet with them, I was doing my prep work, and I went to their website, outdated pictures. I went to their Facebook page. They had not updated their Facebook page in 3 years, and their Instagram had not been updated in 2 years. So, it was an immediate this business doesn't really care, and this is where it's at today. So, if they're not going to care that much, I probably won't invest that much in that business. Focusing on the customer. Another big mistake retailers make is to use social media to talk about what is important to them rather than talking about what is important to the customer. Retailers who use social media, for instance, may think it's great to spread the word about a sale. So in some ways, this would be true, but if that's the only reason you're getting involved in social media, it would not be beneficial. Your goal should be to provide content that is relevant to your customer and engage with them to the point that they want to share their posts with others. And if you use social media, you need to engage with your customers and involve them in a dialogue. So ask them for their opinions. Post a picture of 2 items you're considering carrying in your store and ask customers which one they like best. This creates a dialogue that leads to shared posts and engaged followers. Plus, if you successfully engage with your customers, it will help you better identify their tastes and preferences. And as a side note on this, Facebook and Instagram have changed their algorithms, and it's changed drastically back in February. And I know in June there were some updates. And so by posting and getting people engaged, liking your page, sharing their page, doing which one you like better, it actually really benefits you in your SEO and how you're going to be seen in social media. And then images are key. So another thing to consider is that the most commonly shared content on social media is an image. So it's a good idea to include an image with your post. This will dramatically increase your chances that one of your followers will share their post with their network. When building up a large network of followers, that's great, but it's a better measure of social media success is how often your followers share your content. So it doesn't matter how many followers you have, it's how often they really are active and getting involved with your posts. So these are also the different types of social media platforms that will serve your ad. So social networking, which would include things like Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, microblogging, which would be like your Twitter or Tumblr, photo sharing, which is Instagram, Snapchat, and Pinterest, and then video sharing like YouTube, Facebook Live, Periscope, and Vimeo. Some key notes here, my stats, 3.725 billion active social media users. That just continues to go up, especially during, this pandemic. More and more people are on their social media than ever. 2 hours and 22 minutes a day on social networking just in 2019. 2020 is going to blow that number out. And then 7.6, so this is really important. 7.6 accounts is the average that people have on social media. So for me, I have a lot more than probably the average person, but typically you're going to find people who have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Let's see, younger demographic is probably going to be your Snapchat. Let's see, what else? Those are probably the key. Oh, LinkedIn. LinkedIn's also one, but those are probably the most prominent ones that people are checking. I would put kind of as a secondary one would be Pinterest if it makes sense for your business. For example, if you're a cake decorator or somebody who you're a restaurant or a chef, that might make sense to have some space on Pinterest. Okay, the next one we're going to go over is hours, staffing, and cleanliness. I know. You guys are great business owners and you know this, but these are some of the core essential things for your business. So members of the business community agree that for many companies, hours of operation are likely to continue to expand as demands for convenience on the part of both the individual and the corporate customers do not appear likely to abate anytime soon. Gotten very spoiled with this 24/7 ability to purchase. But small business owners should make sure that they lay the appropriate groundwork for an expansion of operating hours before committing to it. So thorny issues will almost inevitably crop up, whether they take the form of logistical worries about restocking the shelves in the presence of customers or difficulties in finding employees to work that fledgling second shift or late hours or early hours. But the business owner who takes the time to study these issues in advance will be much better equipped to handle them in the effective fashion that the owner who tackles each issue as it rears its head. So look, it's a weird time with COVID. People have switched around their hours, days that they were open, they're closed. So this, I would say just kind of take it as a whole and consider this during a pandemic and outside of a pandemic. Let me give you a little example of business hours. A lot of people are in a downtown area, and I'll use my own city, Milford, and they have a lot of events, much like Howell does, and businesses don't align themselves with events that may be happening. So for example, they had an extended farmers market and / ladies night recently. And a lot of the stores were not open, just weren't open. Now, what would it have done for them to stay open an extra 3 hours that night? And how much business and extra traffic would they have had just by staying open for those 3 hours? And so keeping consistent hours is important, but understanding when you need to have that flexibility is critical. So I just share that with you. Importance of staffing. So obviously, the nature of staffing and the managerial function of staffing is continuous nature. The managers have to give attention to the staffing needs of the organization, and the staffing policy of the organization has to be developed on the basis of long-term requirement of the organization. Now, look, everybody I have talked to has said they've had staffing issues. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people have not looked for a job because of unemployment. So I get it. Look, I'm very sensitive to that. It's not easy to find help. And today we have to get more and more creative with that, how we're going to staff, but it can be done. There are resources. One of my suggestions would be to look into Michigan Works. I was able to get a paid intern. I'm not paying him, Michigan Works is paying him for a period of time. And with the objective and goal to be that I hire him after a 3-month time period. Fantastic program. I get him 40 hours a week for 3 months. They also pay car allowance, and they give him a clothing allowance. So most likely I will be able to hire him at the end of 3 months. So that is my point, is how do you get creative to find these people? There are opportunities out there. You just sometimes have to dig a little bit harder to find them. So the importance of staffing. Key to other managerial functions. Staffing function is very closely related to other managerial areas of the business. So it greatly influences the direction and control in the organization. The effectiveness of other managerial functions depends on the effectiveness of the staffing function. We all got that. Building healthy human relationships. So staffing function helps to build proper human relationships in the organization. Smooth human relations is the key to better communication and coordination of managerial efforts in an organization. Human resources development. So skilled and experienced staff is the best asset of a business is concerned. The staffing function helps developing this asset for the business. It includes the corporate culture into the staff, which in turn ensures smooth functioning of all managerial aspects of the business. Long-term effects, so staffing decisions have long-term effects on the efficiency of an organization. Qualified, efficient, and well-motivated staff is an asset of the organization. So staffing function assumes special significance in the context of globalization, which demands high degree of efficiency and maintaining competitiveness. So it's really important that, yes, you want somebody to work for you, but it's got to be the right person. And, you know, if it's not, it really does affect your organization as a whole. Potential contribution. So staff selection should be based on the ability of the prospective employees to meet the future challenges that the organization needs to address. So therefore, the potential contribution of the staff and their anticipated future roles should also be taken into account for staff selection. So I feel for you here. I know a lot of this is common sense, but when there are more people available to staff your business, it's got to be a right fit, and just try not to settle for, you know, better than less than what your expectations would be. And then the last piece of this is cleanliness. It's highly important to maintain a business's reliability. Ensuring the sanitization of the workplace involves image overall and contributes to employees' physical and mental well-being. A clean place of work is a safe and healthy environment, especially during these challenging times. I'd like to share another quick story with you. I was at a hotel recently in Florida, and I was speaking with a business owner, and he talked about how great his hotel was, a boutique hotel, how clean it was, how great it was. Let me tell you, they had an outside eating area with a bar area that had a glass jar of lemons in it. They were all rotten lemons. My hotel room was filthy. It looked like people had not cleaned behind the tables or furniture. I don't even know how long. The bathroom shower was dirty. So cleanliness is so important, and people notice these things. So if you have not cleaned out the cobwebs in the corner of your brick and mortar, or your work vans, or whatever it is, please take some time and schedule that in. I know it's very easy to say, oh, I'll get to that deep clean whenever, but it's much easier if you just keep up with it and do it on a regular basis. Okay, this is my favorite part, branding. Branding is a way of identifying your business. It's how your customers recognize and experience your business. So a strong brand is more than just a logo. It's reflected in everything from your customer service style, your staff uniforms, your business cards, and the premises to your marketing materials and advertising. So I'm going to spend a teeny bit of time on this one because it's so important. And if you don't take anything else away from this, which I do hope you will, branding is important. So 4 steps to building a successful brand. Over 90% of small business owners believe that having a unique brand that differentiates themselves from the competition is very important. Over half of them also report branding as being critical to attracting new business. Yes, yes, indeed. So define how you want to be perceived. When your customers have finished using your product or service, how do you want them to describe their experience? If you own a restaurant, for example, what do you want them to say? Do you want them to say like, wow, this restaurant has the largest portions in town, it's great. Or you really feel as though you've been invited for a traditional Italian family dinner. The dishes are simple, but so delicious. Or even the service is quick and the food is okay, but the price is unbeatable. See your brand as your promise to your customers, a promise that's different from your competitors. Next would be organize your business based on this promise. So keeping the promise that sets you apart from your competitors implies that you're doing something more than what they're doing. The restaurant that wants to be recognized for an unbeatable prices, for example, will have to find a way to maximize the number of customers served per table in one evening. The margin per individual customer will be less, but the number of customers will make up for it. In other words, your brand will greatly influence the winning formula that you will base your business on. Communicate your promise. All of your marketing material, from the colors of your logo to your website, text, must be developed as a function of your promise. So what you say, for example, on your Facebook or LinkedIn must be aligned with this message and must be the declaration of your premise. It's all of this stage that your brand becomes central to your advertising campaign. So what's more, your ads will even be more effective since you'll have a clear message to convey. And your message should be clear, it should be concise, and do not complicate it, which leads me into being consistent. After defining how you want to be perceived, then organizing your business based on this perception and communicating this promise, you must be consistent. The idea here is to develop trust. So your customers must no longer see you as your brand as a promise, but as a reality. So consistency is often the hardest part, but the one with the greatest rewards. Over time, a well-managed brand stops becoming a company promise and increasingly becomes a customer expectation. When applying such a strategy, your business will gradually be able to increase both its prices and its sales, that's right, both at the same time, and your brand will become one of your business's most valuable assets and one with the most impact on your bottom line. And 23% say it's the average revenue increase attributed to always presenting a brand consistently. It's a pretty big number. So you can see it's important to stay consistent. Let's dig into this part. It's never too late to start branding your business. So using these tips to differentiate, target, and communicate, and more importantly, to stay ahead of the competition. I have a lot of business owners that I work with that have been in business for 30, 40 years. And their business model is great. It's working. They're trying to evolve with the times. But it has to be brought up to speed. So for example, a logo, and I'm going off here, but I will lead into this, but updating your logo, websites, taglines, things like that are going to be really, really important. And this goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. This is really important for all businesses, old and new. So Have a professional logo designed, but do not overthink it. So no matter what size business you have, it deserves a professional brand identity design. So getting a freelance graphic designer or a branding agency for a small business, they can actually create the brand logo for you. And I found this quote, design is the silent ambassador of your brand, so make it exceptional. And as you look to hire someone for your logo design, ensure they provide these things at the very least. So your logo in a vector format, a color palette and fonts, and brand style guide. You will need these things for everything, your website, your social media platforms. So just because you have the logo doesn't mean it will translate into everything you're doing, even your printing, if you do letterhead, things like that. Do not overthink it. So typically half of small business owners have some kind of vision for their logo. The other half are open to creative ideas and know what they like when they see it. In either case, the logo design does not have to be complicated, literal, or super fancy. So when reviewing concepts from a designer, ask yourself if the logo truly is simple, memorable, timeless, versatile, and appropriate. I know when I came up with my 11 marketing consulting, I hired a graphic designer to create that. And we went through probably 10 different logo concepts before we actually came up with it, the color and everything like that. So get it, keep doing it till you get it right, because it's one of the most important things that you have. You need to understand who your target customer is. So one of the most difficult things with business branding development is to commit to a target audience. I know we want to be all things to everybody, but we're not. It's important to visualize what an ideal customer within your audience looks like. We call this a buyer persona, and it's a fictional customer, but based on a real data about your existing consumers coupled with market research. So if you're a new company with little or no sales data, it helps to look at competitors and make educated assumptions. So check out the reviews and social media engagement, or interview potential customers. So go ahead and find people and ask them. And the conversations and feedback will be invaluable for your target audience development. If you're an existing business, it's important to gather an understanding of who you are already helping with your product or service. So whose pain point does your business exactly solve for already? And your buyer persona will have a name. They'll have a personality, lifestyle, motivations, and frustrations. So this is where your brand can guide them. Creating a complete picture ensures that you can develop business branding ideas to meet their exact needs. So for example, if you're not using your analytics, please start doing that today. It will tell you so much about your business. You should be able to track that through, if you have a CRM system. Facebook, for example, gives you great analytics. If you haven't done it, go ahead and dig in there. It will tell you all the people that interact on your social media platform, Facebook, for example, and they will tell the ages, where they're coming from. Typically, you can find out a male, female, things like that. That's going to help you figure out who your target and ideal audience is. And that is so, so important here. And as I said, don't try to be everything to everyone. Without specificity, you become nothing to no one. So find a niche that you can best serve with your product or service. And here's a few ways to help hone in on your ideal customer. First, eliminate who isn't your audience. So for example, my audience is not going to be people who don't own a business, right? Because I'm trying to help businesses market and grow their business. So I don't really, unless it's a service, I'm typically not going to go for those or target those people. Look at your Google Analytics, and if you have a website, so Google Analytics, another thing, Google My Business, you can go in there and dig in and start to pull your Google Analytics. Tell you so much. Conduct a survey to existing customers. Conduct a survey on social media and have a real conversation with the customer. So, maybe it's a new customer that comes in or you're working with. Go ahead and ask them some questions. Ask them about themselves. Ask them what made them come to you or why they chose you. Find out, kind of get an idea of age range or where they live. Are they a homeowner? Do they have kids? This will really help you in honing in on that. And again, great quote, you can't be everything to everyone, so without specificity, you become nothing to no one. Next thing is, do find inspiration from other brands. So take the time to review what your competitors are doing. Notice what they are doing right and what they might be doing wrong. And look at a competitor closely in these areas. So brand identity, how do they appear or sound? And do this with an open mind. I know it's sometimes tough to look at your competitor and not want to, look at everything they're doing wrong and pick at them, but you know what? They're probably doing some things right too. But look at those things and go ahead and find those inspirations in what they're doing. What kind of product or services are they offering? So quality, features, benefits, website user experience. So go ahead, hop on their website. Can you navigate it? Is there a call to action? Is there messaging? Are there links to their social media? Is there e-commerce? Is it something that they can buy online? Content publishing, do they have blogs, videos? I am such a firm believer in video content. Are there case studies or lead magnets? You see, again, social media, go on and look at the size of their community. How many likes do they have? How many engagements? What content types do they have? The frequency of their posting. And then advertising, what are they doing to advertise? Print, display, radio, TV, direct mail. Some of these traditional forms of media are, I'll be blunt, a little archaic and really are going away. So when you're looking at their advertising, it is good to look at traditional, but go ahead and look at what they're doing outside of traditional. Again, LinkedIn, social media, things like that. So make notes about something that is working well and strategize how you can take that and do it better. Alternatively, you may find a competitor message that's not clear or straightforward. So leverage that gap and go ahead and make that part of your own brand story. This makes it easier for customers to choose you when they have to make a decision between you and your competitor. But do note, do not rip off their brands. Getting inspiration is one thing, for sure, but outright plagiarism is another story. So you cannot steal or use another business brand identity. This may seem like common sense, but it isn't always. You'd be surprised at how many people think they can just go ahead and use a logo because, well, they aren't in the same industry or they're not a competitor, so I'll just use their logo. Can't do it. Use it as inspiration. Do create a brand slogan or a tagline. So a slogan or tagline is a short phrase that exemplifies the essence of your brand, its personality, and positioning. It does not have to apply directly to your product. So for example, one of the most famous business branding slogans is Nike's, say it, yes, just do it. Those three words have nothing directly to do with shoes, but the Nike slogan is memorable and conveys the essence of the brand, and it motivates. When creating a brand slogan, keep these points in mind. Convey positivity, use it to differentiate, explain a key benefit, and make it memorable. When creating a brand slogan, be positive, just said this, differentiate, explain the benefit, and make it memorable. And also, don't make your slogan too long. So here's a perfect example. Which sounds better? Just do it, or just do it in our top quality athletic shoes. I think you get it. Do research on current trends. When you are creating a new brand from scratch, you should do market research to see what is happening in your industry and what is appealing to your target market. And actually, this is important to do even when you are an established business so that you can stay current with your branding. There's an amazing amount of information out there on the internet. Aside from purchasing costly research reports, which is a viable option if you have the budget, it's as simple as going to Google. In the search bar, type in something like market research nutritional supplements or customer data health and wellness industry. Replace the above example with your specific product, service, or industry. You'll cull through then all of the relevant results and start reading. You may have to do some digging, but that is where you can find the gems of the information. You'll be able to gather data about trends that will help you fine-tune your offering, get your target audience, or your messaging. And don't get too caught up in the trends, because the caveat to the above is that you shouldn't get so caught up in trends that you forget your core business and why. So for example, if you're a business selling something that appeals to people who are traditional and nostalgic, then you want to look more towards traditional than trendy. Do determine your brand's personality. Bland doesn't work too well with brand unless you are marketing flavorless food. I know, bad joke. But your brand should have a personality or attitude, even a subtle one. Think about some adjectives that might describe your company and use that as a basis. And determine on which side of the personality spectrum your brand falls. So For example, traits would be like, are you personable or are you corporate? Are you high energy or are you careful? Modern or traditional? Cutting edge or established? Fun or serious? Accessible or exclusive? Me personally, part of the reason why people do business with me is because of the relationships that are built, and they like doing business with me. I'd like to think of myself as fun. We like to have a good time. I smile a lot. I have a lot of enthusiasm. I connect with people pretty well. I engage my customers. If you see on any of my social platforms, I use a ton of video because I just think it's really important to connect with my audience and who my potential customers are. If you watch my videos, you get a definite idea of who I am and what my brand personality is, even just watching one video. So take that for what it is. Don't try too hard. You wouldn't want to go so far with personality, though, that your brand becomes a joke. So that stereotypical used car salesman might come to mind when you think of that. So it's good to have fun, joke around, but don't take it over the top where it pushes you into silliness. Your brand personality should be authentic and speak to the target customer. Figure out what attributes your brand has and how that aligns with the attributes of your business persona. And this will help your brand engage in a true conversation with prospective leads and existing customers. The next thing is, do develop a unique business culture. So a unique culture can become part of your overall business branding and brand personality. And so what I mean by culture, it consists of basically how you do business. How do you treat your employees and your customers? Does your company value teamwork and collaboration? Is being family friendly, including generous maternity leave, a part of your corporate culture? These can all become part of your business branding. Bringing your employees on board with your brand's business culture and values can be the difference in having long-term success. Don't go against your values. And this is, I think, really important. Once you've developed a business culture, you need to live it. And if you don't, then it can end up actually hurting your brand. A strong business brand starts from within the company. Ensure that your employees understand and align with the same values the business is built on. And start this with your hiring process by vetting the right people to bring them on board. You want to empower them, train them, recognize and reward them with team support and getting them on board with what your values are, and then rewarding them for embracing your values and executing it. The next thing is trademarking your brand. So not everybody's going to do this, but it might be important. Coming up with a unique business name is getting harder every day, as there are more entrepreneurs and small businesses. I found this out when I was trying to find a website for my 11 marketing consulting. It's harder and harder to find good website names. So if you trademark, this is another reason why you might want to trademark it. So you're going to want to protect your brand from copycats. A trademark protects a symbol, name, word, logo, or design used to represent the manufacturing of your goods. So once you have your brand name, logo, and slogan, you should get it officially trademarked. And this involves filing a trademark application, which can be easily done through like LegalZoom. It'll be probably about $300 to $500. The official trademark designation will legally protect you if someone tries to steal or copy your original brand assets. And even better, a trademark will never expire. Do use a consistent voice. In addition to your visual style guide is the voice that you use for your communications as a brand. So when I say voice, I don't mean this voice. It just means how do you come across? So is your voice casual or is it professional? Are you, and the blog articles on your website, are they in first person, second person, or third person? So with the brand voice that you determine fits your brand personality best, you'll be able to develop a compelling brand story and associated messaging. These are the fundamental pieces of communication you'll use across all channels, such as your website and social media. So for example, if you're a financial planner, you're not going to want to come across like this, full of energy, and you're going to want to have more professional. If you are selling, I don't know, something fun, ice cream, for example, you're going to want to be fun. You're going to want to, have a lot of enthusiasm. So I think that should make sense to you. One last caveat, though, to that is do not change your voice too frequently. So do some testing with your customer base and find the voice that resonates with them the most and stay consistent with that. Do boost your brand, last but not least. Once you have your brand name, logo, slogan, and your story, make sure to promote it. The prettiest logo won't help a darn bit if nobody sees it. So build a clean, user-friendly website that clearly explains what your business does for the consumer. Remember to include a call to action that points people in the right direction. So for example, buy now, schedule a call, sign up, and tell them exactly what to do. Develop a marketing plan and then implement it. Foundation elements of a digital brand strategy should include content marketing, social media marketing, email marketing, and paid advertising. So those 4 components should be part of what you're doing to boost your brand. And don't be shy about your brand. Especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, let people know about your brand and promote it proudly. You know, you're not bragging, you're not being boastful, you're just supporting your brand. You're, you're excited about it. So convey that and brand your business the right way. Branding from the beginning is one of the most fundamental things to do for long-lasting growth. So it's also something that established companies can turn their attention to for increased brand awareness and trust. So I always say more brand trust equals more sales. And who doesn't want more sales? So thank you for indulging me. I know that that was a long one, but that one is super important. Customer service. We're going to go through this one pretty quick. Proper customer service has a huge impact on getting consumers all the way through the sales funnel. According to the Customers 2020 report by Walker, by this year, customer experience will overtake price and product as the key to a brand differentiator. That's huge. So let's just go through these. Tell customers how long they can expect to wait. So maybe they purchase something from you, maybe a piece of furniture. Tell them, if it's back ordered, don't tell them it's going to be there in 4 weeks so you know it's going to be 8. Tell them the truth. Or if they have a problem, let them know that you'll get back to them that day or the next day. That's really important. Give them a guaranteed callback time, just what I said, and stick to it. If somebody, for example, I had somebody I was working with that said that they were going to do something that I requested and they didn't do it. There was no communication. He was having issues. If he had just communicated it with me, it wouldn't have been a problem. So that's that. Know the caller's information. I know it seems basic, but know their first and last name, know what they're calling about before you're dealing with them. And if you have to put them on hold for a moment to pull up a file or a record, do so. It goes a long way. How are you thanking them? So important. Customer service, I'll be honest, I'm not real thrilled with customer service these days. I don't know what's happened to people's manners, but it seems like I'm forever on a hold line or wait line for somebody, or I get a crabby person. So when somebody actually takes the time to thank me or send a follow-up email or a note or a postcard or a handwritten card, let me tell you, that goes a very long way. And that actually then will jump down to what are you doing to stand out? Perfect example. So important to do these little touches. It may seem like it may take time, but if you get into a rhythm of that or utilizing your CRM and set it up to do a follow-up, it goes a million miles. My question is, do you have a loyalty or referral program? That's how you get your repeat customers. That's how you keep them coming back. How many of us have those, Kroger cards or the movie theater MJR rewards or, seems like everybody has a rewards or loyalty program. It's really important. And if you need to have an incentive for a referral, refer me and be entered to win, a $100 Amazon gift card. Why not do that? I mean, if you're getting referrals, it's totally worth the investment that you might make. Is your staff trained properly? So for example, as I said, I come into places, stores, staff are not happy, they're crabby. They don't know the product. I literally went into the pet store, asked for a fish filter. She said, I'll be over in a minute. And 10 minutes later, they never showed up. When I asked her, she's like, oh, I didn't know where it was. Okay, well, could ask somebody, but okay. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. And then are you asking for reviews? Oh my gosh, this is important. This is so important today. Whether it be through website, social media, or Google, have them review you. And don't be afraid to ask for that review. Have them go there because that will help in your overall SEO, your search engine optimization. And then noted here, negative reviews also succeed in chasing away customers from your business to your competitors. Oof, you don't want that to happen. So research shows that one negative review drives away 22% of prospects, around 30 customers. So the percentage of lost customers increases with an increase in negative reviews. So 3 negative reviews drives away customers by almost 60%. Not good. So now more than ever, you should be taking a look at your customer service and how it might be affected by the current crisis. Assess any areas that could benefit from innovation or business pivot. And again, how your company now responds to and treats its customers could impact your business for years to come. In the next webinar, which will be shorter than this, but we had a lot to cover in this, we'll cover some of the things about how to be flexible and pivot your business. And I'm telling you, every single business can pivot their business. And that wraps up our 11 marketing consulting. I want to thank you for the opportunity to present to you today. And a few things that I am offering today as a benefit for participating is a free consultation, which I do that anyway, but you do get a free consultation. And with that consultation, I actually make recommendations. So you don't want to hire me, that's okay. I can give you a guide, some thoughts and some things that you could do to help with your business. Also, anyone who schedules an appointment with 11 gets an Amazon gift card. All you have to do is set a meeting with me. That's it. You get an Amazon gift card. And then anyone who signs with 11 will get $250 off of their first month. It's not a big deal, right? And then anyone who refers me a customer, this is great. Oh, this is a good one. Anyone who refers me a customer that signs with 11 will get an Amazon gift card worth $100. Just refer me somebody, they sign, you get $100, and you get one for every customer that you refer me that actually signs. So there's great opportunity to make some money and of course save if you sign out with an 11. And then you also see in quotes the word gratitude. I use the word gratitude or grateful a lot because I feel like living a grateful life helps you find the beauty and joy in even the toughest of times. And today, I am absolutely grateful for the time you took to be a part of this webinar. I hope you have an amazing day. Again, if you have any questions, which you probably will, please email me at 11julie@yahoo.com. Go ahead and screenshot this. That was my style in case you screenshot it. And use this information to reach me. You can always message me through Facebook, give me a call, whatever is most convenient for you. But I am happy to answer any questions. So again, thank you so much for the time you took today and make it a great day, okay? Thanks, everybody.